Divine greetings, entities, energies, lovelies, bodies of light, the seekers and sojourners of truth, the 144, chosen of the chosen few. You all know who you are. I greet you in the love that lights the truth from my heart to yours. I am celestial earth in this divine energy essence of it all, reporting to you live from nowhere other than dimension number 5. For real, deeper into 5D we go. We are setting the foundations. We are building the structures. The timelines are splitting. Timelines are collapsing so that the split can happen. We're healing wounds, traumas. A lot is going on. There's a lot to be said for what is going on. So as usual, I bring you the news to infuse, if you so choose to infuse with that light, as we are really lighting up on this light grid. Faithfully, everyone who's doing what they need to do is working on their particle of the light grid. Ashe. And as usual, you don't have to. It's choice. Everything is free will and choice. So if you don't infuse, though, you are by default refusing automatically. And when you refuse, be prepared to be fried on the grid. So as we are shifting through times, as things are happening right now, you will probably feel it if you are on the refusal side of this timeline shift. So there is a 7-day preparation. And I must say to all of our light warriors that we've come to the end of the road. There is a cosmic graduation happening. And I haven't found myself saying that since I think around sometime last year. I was talking about this graduation. I believe it had to do with where Neptune was at the time, at 29 degrees and in Pisces. And it was like, we're graduating. And this time may be reflecting that. Even though Neptune is now in Aries, conjunct with Saturn, and preparing for a triple conjunction with the moon, which would be on the 16th, which would be tomorrow for those who see this tonight. And that is a triple, I call it a triple threat, an emotional, I may have to do a separate video on that maybe tomorrow, because there's some information about that we may need to know. Or maybe I just give the warning, right here, or the information. I don't like warning, sounds like I'm warning you. But it is a hint at what's happening. So there's a lot with the convergence. Like, this is a time where, as the timelines are splitting, a lot of us are quantum leaping, as I've been saying, shifting in these timelines, and it's a convergence within this divergence of what is happening, right? The timelines are doing what they do, and we are integrating. It's an integration part right now. So this 7-day window, this is what I really want to talk about, like what we can do, what is happening, and what can we do as light warriors. A lot of what I've been getting is, and some of it is still coming through. I'm literally contemplating, because there is a need of coming together. So I'm contemplating on doing some type of workshop or meetup or transmission activation. I'm still listening for the guidance on which way spirit would have it, because as you hear when I explain this to you, we're all going through it. So even myself, I have to use wisdom, and I have to take the time, TTT, to sit back and do what I need to do to allow these energies to pass through, because there is a releasing that is happening. Like, as I was hearing throughout a dream, a lot of us are getting messages in our dreams, so take time to write that down. As soon as you get out, whatever phrase you hear, whatever it is that sticks out, write it down. There is a return to relearn. A return to relearn, and that may be what I do when we meet up, a return to relearn meetup, so I can give what information needs to be given in a deeper sector, and with more like minds who are really ready and willing light bodies, those who are feeling it, those light warriors, those 144 frequency ascendants, and you know who you are. We can feel this time. Some of you are really feeling it, and there's some more information I can go in depth and give even deeper. Those of you who have been in the workshops, you know you get so much more when we actually do meet. So I'm inviting you, if this calls to you, as spirit leads me to email me, and I will be able to email you the information. I'm really going off of faith of spirit right now. I can't even tell you that I have a date. However, if you're interested, because as soon as this is one of those calls where as spirit gives it to me, that's it. I will either come on and do a quick video giving the call to the altar call. I will give a call, or I may just email you. So if you're really interested, emailing me will be the best way, because then I don't have to exert any energy to do another video specifically to this information. However, what is happening? Okay, Spirit is reminding me the 5D calendars. It's like housekeeping. So before I stick a pin, the 5D calendars, I am shipping them out this week. So those of you who have an order, they'll be going out this week if you have a new order. For those of you who have donated from the time that I was in Jamaica, this is the important part of the message. If you have, please email me so that I can know. I remember at the time I said anyone who donated $50 or more. So if you know that you're one of those who donated $50 or more, that through my appreciation, that when the next calendars get out, you will already be on the list. So email me so that I make sure I have your address, your information, so that I can get that to you. Email me your name and your, if you can, snapshot or screenshot your payment if you have it, so that I can make the connection that quicker and get it out to you this week. Ashe. So with that said, and remember to like, subscribe, share, like, subscribe, share, comment if you dare, to help keep the algorithms going and get this bandwidth out to those who are in remote places that need to see the lighthouse. Ashe. So with that said, let's go into what is happening in this 7-day preparation. It's very similar to 7 days in the garden. It's almost like we're in the garden, like in Genesis. 7-day preparation is 7 days of a creative process. We're creating something that is happening through, and this is not more of an active doing. This 7-day process preparation, as to what I'm feeling, is taking time to reset, review everything that's that's why it's return, to relearn, to do over. It's reflection time. This is a time where, as the frequencies are passing through, it's allowing us, as the cosmos are guiding us, it's allowing us time to release traumas. Let me say it like that. This is a grieving time. And for most of you, what I can say, some of you may have felt this grief on Monday, yesterday, from maybe over the weekend, you kind of felt something brewing. And then Monday, as I noticed, was a very heavy grief day, even for myself. And a lot of us grieve in different ways. So it doesn't necessarily mean that you're crying or you're sad about something you lost. You may have felt it in different ways, especially as we're releasing the traumas. It may just feel like a certain heaviness for those light warriors. If you're anything like myself, you may have been feeling a bit of frustration and a bit of like, this is it. Like, I no longer want to exert myself this way, even to help others in the most humble ways. You know, a lot of us have been doing the work, and we've learned to find some kind of balance. We've learned to have compassion for the collective, and even that seems to be a little draining right now. It's almost like you just want everybody to kind of stay at bay, which is what's needed right now. We actually really need to go into that chrysalis, right, as the 5D butterflies, and representing this transformation, this graduation transformation. We actually do need to go into that chrysalis and recalibrate. And I've mentioned this before in one of my live videos, I believe, and it had to do with the note that I was sharing an insight from my daughter, for those of you who remember that, who was saying that the dark entities out there it's like they were very active, and it was the chosen ones, or the light warriors need to kind of go back in. And it's not to be afraid like we're running away from chaos and everything like that, but it is to go within, to preserve your light, to preserve your energy, and most importantly, not just to preserve, but to review you, to review what may still be there in some unconscious traumas. Because as we're passing through all of this, we can feel the collective traumas, the family traumas, the karmic imprint of the collective. It's all passing through us. If you can imagine that, with all this light and energy, and those of you who are into the solar flares and who are paying attention to, I'm not saying into as if I'm not either, I pay attention to all aspects of universal the intrinsic universal design. It's showing up in many ways, and it's all very, like I said, we're converging. It's all very interactive and interrelated. So those flares that are flaring off and bringing massive, solar winds onto the earth is what's hitting that fifth density light, pouring into the earth, that is kicking up so much. The dark matter, the dark energies, the shadows in the darkness is releasing, or has already been releasing, the loosh in the air. For those who remember when we talked about the loosh, that is the essence of, let's say, fear-based thoughts and feelings. People's fears, their wounds, they're excreting like steam from a boiling pot, right? And so the loosh is in the air, and it's cutting through all of this, and we're feeling the upheaval of it. And while it's there, it's kicking up things, not just in people around us, but especially as we're related and in the bloodlines, the traumas in the bloodlines, all of that we're feeling as it's kicking up. So we also need to give ourselves time and space to release, to let it go. So within these 7 days, it's to get into a place of listening to your body, of listening to your mind, a place of allowance, because there is grievance, there's grief of the trauma that is releasing itself, grief of trauma relief. we're relieving ourselves, but we're feeling it, and we really would need to take the time to recalibrate. So do as least as possible. Listen to your body. I know sometimes, especially spiritual warriors, and a lot of times we have a lot on our plate, and we're responsible a lot of the times to share what we channel, what information we're getting, because it's helping those out there who are needing to cross that bridge. Because what's happening is we're in the in-between right now. It reminds me of this card that I have called the land in between. We're that bridge in between those timelines right now. We're helping to hold stabilizing those frequencies, allowing those to cross that bridge. And I want to be mindful to say, it's not for us, like, I know some of us may feel this. Yes, it's the end of, when I say the end of time, the end of storylines, the end of old storylines, the end of old narratives, the end of these illusions. There's an end to that in many ways. And a lot of us may see those who are in, lower frequencies or lower timelines. And it's for us to, again, have patience and compassion, and not come across where we're dictating, or, hey, you got to do this is happening. We see what's happening, but everybody's moving it at their own pace. And we have to do our best. Don't overexert yourself to, help. Even if you say, well, they know, but they know spiritual work. They know what's happening in the energy field at their level. So we got to respect the levels where people are, for ourselves and for them. Do ourselves service, justice, and do not overexert yourself to stick your hand out to help others. And I'm not saying don't help, but be mindful of where you're helping, how you're helping, who you're helping. Be mindful of you and what needs to be done for you first. before you extend that out to others. What is your spirit needing right now? Do you see things that are coming up for you that you need to take the time to allow this trauma to pass through? You may feel like you want to cry. You may just a release, a lot of releasing that is happening. And a lot of us are having to really find that space in time to allow this. So in these 7 days, it's really giving you in preparation of what is to come in, let's say, the next 4 to 5 months. And in the midst of that, we're going to be dealing with multiple retrogrades, especially in the month of November. It's going to be a lot going on. I would say we're going to feel a lot of activity in the month of, September, probably getting a lot of information, light codes. And then in the month of November, there's going to be a lot of, like, most of the planets are going to be in retrograde, if not all of them. Like, most of them are going to be in retrograde. And so there's a lot of reflection, reviewing, redoing. That opportunity is going to be there, but it's not going to come in ways that we think. It's going to come in ways that is going to be like, well, you didn't hear the first time, so I gotta, universe is going to bring it to us in ways that are kind of going to bring us to, I was going to say bring us to our knees, but bring us to, for some people, they may be on their knees, but it's going to really bring ones who have been neglecting a specific thing that has been showing up for them. It's going to really bring you to it through specific circumstances, through certain experiences that are not going to feel so comfortable or convenient or happy or pretty or whatever you want to call it. It's going to be a test of time. And again, it's all choice point. It's not doom and gloom. It's just to let you know that that's what's going to be happening. So this right now is to feel. I wanted to share a specific download I got, and I shared a little bit before about the 369, the 36 number 9 spiritual leaders, life number 9s. Let me say it that way. The life number 9 leaders that have the number as a 36, basically a 36. When you add up all the numbers, you got a 36, and that 6 and that 3 is a 9. All right, so specifically, I'm inviting those of you, if this resonates with you and you check and you see that you're a 36-9 life number, then I'm specifically speaking to you. Right? But this is not limited. It's never exclusivity with the divine. So it's not exclusivity. Anyone who it resonates with and who feels that they're ready to make that jump. It could be someone that just entered into 5D. So you don't have to feel that I have to be this advanced. It's whatever resonates with you and what you're willing to do. As the light codes always show me, it's for ready and willing light bodies. Are you ready and are you willing? And that's going to carry you as far as much as you're ready and willing to do. So even if this is new to you, if you're ready and willing and you feel called, you know when you feel that call. You know when it's that time. And this is one of those critical times where, yes, some are going to be, it's not even a matter of left behind, but certain doors are just going to close for right now. But this is a major shift in this time. So if it's for you, if you feel called to this particular light colony, lighthouse community, then again, email me, Akila Textree, at akilatextree@gmail.com. And I'll put the link in the description as well, so you know. Or I'm saying the link like it's a link, but it's the email. I'll put the email in the description. And believe me, if it has already been calling you, don't be timid, don't be shy. This is not one of those times where you'll say, well, I'll wait till next time, I'll let it pass. This is not one of those let it pass time if it resonates with you, right? This is not, it's not a solicitation. I'm not calling everyone to feel like pressure to be like, I gotta do it now. If it calls to you, I'm saying it's not one of those times where you just want to let it pass. You may really want to tune in, to tune up, to tap in, get more information that is going to help guide you through this, especially if you're new to this and true to this. You're going to want guidance to help get you through this. And there's so much information with that said. So let me share with you also the timeline of the timeline. Why did I say timeline? A timeline wants to be shared. Like, I gotta be watchful of everything now. There's a lot going on. There's a timeline that wants to be shared. And we have to be mindful of what that timeline is, because what I'm sensing is that could be a twofold thing. There's the old timeline, and sometimes the old timeline wants to creep in. The old narrative wants to share space with the new timeline, and that's just not going to work. This is where when I say not everybody can go, because you have to let go those wounds, those traumas. That's why we have to allow this 7 days is really to allow the release of those traumas. And it doesn't mean all traumas are going to be cleansed from you, but as much as possible. And what really needs to be looked at for your soul advancement, the universe and your soul, your higher self, is very intrinsic and very intertwined, and is divinely intelligent. It's divine intelligence. It already knows what you need. So the things that you need to work on is what is coming up for you. And that's the thing that needs to release. It's not about getting rid of all traumas. Some people think that, oh, I still got, you don't have to get rid of all traumas. There is the main one. There is the important one. There's the one that is important to you crossing that timeline. That's what it is. There may be the main one that you've come here specifically in this lifetime to be in this transmission in this lifetime, to release it, to lift that layer, to break that veil, to thin that veil in the consciousness of your soul. And this is what's going to catapult you. So allow yourself to sit with that and see what it is that needs to be released. That's what the 7 days is for. 7 days in the garden to prepare for the next steps, for the next couple of months that are going to really be work. It's like spiritual boot camp. It's going to be like a spiritual boot camp. And if you're feeling called to fast or detox, do that, because some things need to be removed from the body so that things can flow through, so that things can release. If there's any blockages, let it go, let it flow. Ashe. So, and there's just so much more. I'm taking my time to explain this. There's so much more that is happening. Let me give the download. Was there the second? So the second fold of wanting to share time. Is there a second fold? There's the share time that I just explained, and there is the sharing time of knowing how to live in both worlds. And I don't mean have both worlds like that, but to be within the convergence, knowing how to integrate, not to keep an illusion of separation, but sharing, knowing that you can be the bridge. There you go. Sharing, meaning because you have to be able to share to be able to be the bridge. It's the sharing that keeps you connected to either side. Speak into the light warriors and those spiritual leaders specifically, because you are holding the bridge so that others can cross over. And it takes, everybody can't be the bridge. It takes those who have really been in training, because some people, when they bridge, if you're not ready to be the bridge and you make yourself to bridge, it is let's say it's like temptation. It's if you're not strong enough yet, you can easily fall back into the lower timeline, because you're sharing, on either end. You're sharing between worlds, being the bridge, having something on one end over here and something on this end, but you're not trained to have that sharing time space, that sharing of timeline. So you may fall back into the lower timelines. It's actually dangerous for those who are not ready. It's kind of like, and I keep using this example, but it's like a person who is a recovering alcoholic, and they know, I can't go back in that environment. I can't go into the bar. It's like that. If you're not strong enough yet, if you haven't worked on certain deeper wounds to be strong enough, and you can't just tell yourself, yeah, I got it. You really got to go within and know that you know that you know. And those who have really been through it, you know. You know what is happening. And a lot of us in the in between are feeling that. So I say that so you understand it could be a little dangerous of slipping back into that old narrative if you're going to prematurely be a bridge. So that's the other timeline share that I'm looking at. There's an infiltration where those in that old narrative want to share space, but you can't bring that along with you. And then there's those who are being the bridge that is sharing space, sharing that timeline. So with that said, there's so much more, but with that said, to the spiritual leaders, this is the download for those speaking to the 36-9, because you're setting the foundations in time. So to the, is that rain? To the spiritual leaders of the 144 frequency ascendants, this is a call to the divine preparation in time. These 7 days of preparation is a respiriting mechanism for the soul to return to relearn what it needs to release in order to make the dimensional shift across timelines. These spiritual leaders will stabilize the frequencies and set the foundations for this next phase of the fifth dimensional New Earth consciousness, as the structures are being built through collective consciousness expansion. So this is that call to those specifically, as I said, if you check and you know you are a 36-9, this is speaking even more specifically to you. This is that call for you to step into your spiritual leadership. And being that leadership, it's going to help stabilize the frequencies and set those foundations for this next phase. We're in this next phase of the fifth dimension, which is to build the structures. After setting the foundations, the structures are being built up. So, and this is to expand that 5D consciousness, and it is done through collective consciousness, through the expansions of those of us that's collecting. And that's why it's being shown to me that it's for us to come together. This is for the divine synergy, those working in collective groups, those of like minds, the family, the soul family tribes or soul family clusters that are coming together. And by doing this work together, you amplify the activation on the light grid. And in doing so, you help with the flow of light, of the fifth density light. We help with the bridging of this time during this time shift. And so this is really needed right now. And it's calling us out of what other residue or debris that we may have been in, or we may be holding in trauma. So we're allowing ourselves to do what we need to do. This is why we have to take these 7 days to do what needs to be done in preparation for what is to come. So soul family clusters are bonding and infusing with the light to co-mission the activation of transmission in time for this cosmic transition, because that's what's happening. It's a cosmic transition happening right now. This shift is being cosmically shifted, guided through the cosmos, through the celestials, by what's happening with the sun, solar flares, that's through the cosmos, by what's happening with the planets, the shifting of the planets. All of this is an integral part. So there must be intentional collective light grid work, collective of soul restorations, right? Of soul restorationers, let me say it that way, of soul restorationers, those who are restoring, that are ready and willing to infuse physical embodiment and cosmic awareness to be the bridge between worlds in time and space reality. So what this saying is for those who are the restorationers, being willing and ready to infuse that embodiment, physical embodiment and conscious awareness. That's what we're bringing together right now. Through this preparation, we're actualizing this physical embodiment of conscious awareness something that is usually separate, but we're infusing it, physically embodying all of this, everything. Cosmically speaking, everything divine, everything spiritually. It's no longer a separation like it's out there. It's physically embodying it all within. And that combination in and of itself is the bridge. It is the bridge of awareness. Ashe? So things that you can do. Here's what to do as I go through that. So again, that is the call for the 36-9. Check your birth date. Check your life number. If your life number is a 9, by the number of 36 specifically. Even if you're a life number 9 and you don't have the 36, as I said, if it resonates with you, because we're all going to meet together, but there's this, I can sense the urgency of the 36-9. So with that said, what can we do? I feel like there's so much more. It's like there's more, but I don't want to just flood you all with it. I may have to break this up in pieces. So in preparations, one must quiet the mind. As we all know, quiet the mind with through meditation practices to tune in and listen to guidance. So wherever you can meditate, whether it's guided meditation, silent meditation, sound meditation, whatever you can do to go within and listen for this internal guidance, listening to your dreams. When you get up, if you can afford to, take the time to be still, to before you even get off thinking, because I'm telling you, it happens to me. But as soon as you start thinking, you start to distance yourself from any messages or anything that you may have gotten in the dreams. So as soon as you wake up, don't be so quick to jump up and I got to do this, I got to do that. Or even don't be so quick to busy your thoughts about things that's going on around you, whether it's in the family, at work, because that's how, thoughts will just pop up. You go to bed worrying about some stuff, you wake up and the thoughts are ready to start running amok. So be intentional that when you wake up, you say no, you hold on to the message or whatever your dream is. You hold on to finding that dream. Because sometimes we lose it, but if you just sit there and meditate on it, it'll start to play itself back in. You have to control it. You have to tell yourself, what is this? Search for a feeling. Because sometimes I have to tell people this when they're like, how do you call it back? You search for a feeling. You search for a particular memory in the dream. You don't have to remember the whole thing. You just search for something familiar that you feel like, oh yeah, that. It could be a person that you saw. Oh yeah, I was sitting beside so-and-so. And then sometimes you have to repeat it. Okay, I was sitting beside so-and-so. I was sitting beside. And the more you repeat it, the more it kind of comes back to you. And you see what it is. It's like, oh. So repetition of what it is and focusing on the feeling you had in the dream and repeating that feeling. Maybe the feeling that you had while you were sitting next to so-and-so. It kind of helps to bridge it all back. But bring your mind back to that focus so you can get what you need to get out of it. Write it down as quick as possible and then go about your day and your thoughts. This is how we're going to be able to write down, to track what we need, or to listen, to track what needs to be done and to be able to listen. Another thing, this is really important, do a lot of grounding by walking barefoot and sitting in nature to allow the body to release its trauma through the earth chakra, for the earth to transmute and release it for you. So it's like when you're grounding, you're allowing it to go back into the earth. The earth transmutes for us, right? And it releases back into us electromagnetic frequencies with codes to nurture us, to nurture the healing that we need. So as we release the traumas, because sometimes there's a void, anything you release and let go and remove, there's a space of void and we need to fill it back. So allow yourself, as you're grounding, to not only release the trauma, but allow the frequencies, the information that comes through the earth to nurture you, right? Be nature, let nature nurture you. Allow it to come back up through your bare feet, which is a portal. The soles of your feet is a portal. The palms of your hands, these are portals. Ashe? So allow it to come through the soles of your feet. As you exchange this electromagnetic frequency, you're releasing the trauma, You're letting it go. You're letting it pass through your body. It's almost like you're allowing the light to flush it through. If it's raining, walk in the rain, barefoot in the rain. If you can get outside and get that opportunity, because it's a cleansing, type of flush. And so this is what it'll be passing through. So allow yourself to ground, to release this. If you need to release tears, if you need to release a scream, in whatever way, but allow it to flush through your body. Ashe? So that's what's happening. That's the emotional flush that is going to take place is on the 16th. So if you work in any places like prisons or psychiatric wards, or it's not only in those places, but that's where it's going to be heightened. That's where you're going to see it the most. In schools, any institution where things are kind of conformed and combined, like really together like that. Confined, that's the word I want. Not combined, confined, conformed and confined. You may see a lot of emotional eruptions, because that is the triple hookup with the moon, Neptune and Saturn. And that moon, which is emotional, is going to be bringing bringing the inner world, the emotional world, to what's happening with Neptune and Saturn in retrograde. So re-looking at some things, and Saturn is really highlighting like accountability, where we need to have accountability, and that may be uncomfortable for some people. So with that, it's going to bring up a lot. And so not just in those places, it's happening all over. All of us are susceptible to it. You're going to see effects of it all over in the world, but just more in confined places. You may see random things happening, heightened. It'll be heightened emotional, let's say emotional eruptions or emotional releases. It could be, from fights erupting, because it's happening with everybody in different timelines. So in the lower timelines, when they feel it, they're just going to act out. So there's going to be, things like, it could be accidents. It just could be all kind of upheaval, just to, let you know that may be what's happening. For those who are really doing the work and who are in higher frequencies, it's allowing yourself that time to process those feelings, those traumas. As I was speaking to you all about, lastly, I had to deal with it with family myself, and then Monday it was a very grieving day. That's why I'm saying this to you. It wasn't just me. I was seeing it all around, but I could feel the grievance, and it wasn't sorrow and sadness, but I can feel, for me, it showed up as depression, as laziness. I wasn't depressed, like sad and mopey, but I really didn't feel like doing anything. I really didn't feel like being bothered with anything or anyone. And that's why I'm taking my time to even share the invite of meeting up, because I want to make sure I honor my space, my time, my energy, and allow what needs to go through without feeling obligated to have to do something else. So I'm taking my time and listening to Spirit's guidance. I know something is going to be had, but I'm still listening for the guidance. It may be this weekend. We may do the 3-day root chakra work, or that may be the following weekend. I'm simply waiting on guidance. This is really a different level of faith walk, where you just can't know it all. This is part of the elevation. Some of us have to know that something needs to be done, and I don't know the details, and it's not my job to be fixated on the details. That is the shadows of South Node in Virgo. These are some of the things we need to break. So while you're in this 7-day window, not looking at details in that way, you don't need to have all the answers. What we need to know is that it's time to release and let go. What we need to know, that this is a time of preparation before we are in the next couple of months of what is to come. So with that, there's a lot more like I want to share with us. I see so much going on. I know some of us, okay, Spirit, just give me anything to throw out before I go. I see that there are some of us who may feel like, this is to speak to some of you that may feel like, hello, did my connection turn off? And it's no, you're in the in-between. And trust that you have all that you were always connected to. You're still connected, but it's not going to look like what you're used to it looking like. It's going to feel like you can't hear anything. You're going to feel like, did my guides leave me? Did I lose it? And what I have to say to you is keep doing what you're doing, one step at a time, one day at a time. You haven't failed anything. You're recalibrating, and you're in that space, in the space of preparation, where you're being asked to just honor you, allow you to release, also honor you, honor what you can do without overworking yourself, without putting too much on yourself, without having religious, spiritual or religious rituals, because some of us have things that we do to say, I got to do this to stay in tune. And then we do it and you're like, well, what's happening? Why am I not hearing anything, feeling anything? You may feel connected, disconnected. It's there. I want to confirm and affirm for you, you are there. It has never left you. We are connected by through divine guidance. You are divinely guided. You are divinely connected. You are chosen because you have chosen. And this is a time and space, in this time space reality, where it is time to actually, let's say, suspend. Suspend to expand. Sometimes it's suspending from a particular routine, suspending from the body, things that we hold on to in the body, because that's the body that holds on to things. I think that's why sometimes we gotta be in this suspension mode, because the body has to hold on to something, and the suspension wants us to let go of something in the body, and sometimes it's wired a certain way. We're okay with letting go of this, but we don't realize that this is sometimes tied to that, which may be a ritual that you do to connect. Something else is tied to that, and we want to release that as well. So allow yourself to be in that space, in the space of void or limbo for a minute, and know that you are very much divinely connected, and you're getting codes. Even if you feel like you're not getting messages, you're getting codes. Continue to sit in the sun, continue to meditate, continue to grounding is really going to help. Hug a tree, do anything to do within nature, whether it's the beach, whether it's the forest, whatever nature it is for you, do that. And with that said, I'm going to leave. Ooh, look how far it went. All right. Oh, time is just flying. With that said, I'm going to leave this with you, which is 3 things that you can do to stabilize these frequencies. Fast in any way possible. Sorry for that shake-up. Fast in any way possible. Remove yourself from any low vibrational person, places, or things, and raise your frequency to the highest degree as much as you can, whatever that is for you. Taking a spiritual bath, working with your crystals, your copper. Shout out to Ascension Instruments by Jehudi. Anything that you can do, walking in nature, exercising, to just simply raise your vibrations. Ashe. And I'm going to leave that there because this went on long enough. With that said, each one, reach one, teach one. If you don't know where to start in your big, beautiful heart. Shine your light from the inside out, and be the candle that lights the next one, and the next one, and the next one. Peace, love, and light.